Howdy everyone, this is Great Gift. So we got a launch of a contractor tourist rocket. So pretty straightforward and simple. We're going to take them up to orbit, loop around the planet for just a little bit, and then bring them back home. So I'm just checking everything here. We'll go ahead for launch after I have gravity turn set up correctly. And it's going to get all orientated, and then at 111 meters per second for this particular rocket. And it's going to start heading into its gravity turn, and then I'll join you back up when we get to the second stage. Okay, here we are at the second stage. So we're trying to achieve our apoapse height, and it looks like we're very close to this point, 72, shooting for 80. I could do anywhere from 75 to 80. That just gives you a little bit of buffer. If you're looking at doing these a little quicker, you can shoot for 125 kilometers, and that will make it better. Okay, and that was the second stage, and now we're on to our final stage. Right here, I'm going to do a little bit of circularization, and so I time warp a little bit, and then circularize, and I'm shooting between the prograde and can't remember what the other one's called. Nominal and anti-nominal, and I can't think of what the other one is. But anyways, I'm shooting between those two because I'm kind of trying to get just a little bit more height on my apoapse, and as well as bring my periapse up. So we do this a little bit. Every time I go about down to 10 seconds, shoot till I go up to 30. I don't have the upgraded tracking station and components at this point, so I have to do all my circularization manually. And there we go, we're at 80 by 75, and so now all I have to do is the time remaining portion of that. So we set in for the long haul around the planet Kerbin, and we wait for the sun to show up because I need to make sure that we're going to have enough electricity so that they can survive one full day at this orbit to make sure that the life support systems stay running. So here I am checking all the stats for that. The biggest one there being the electrical charge, watching how fast that goes down. And so I'm waiting for some sun, and just making sure the panels are there. Fast forward a little bit till we get some sun. And yeah, there you can see the 120 kilometer limit. And so if you get higher than that, then you can go a little bit faster. It makes this just a little bit faster. But you can always go with the tracking station as well. Okay, here we come around to the sun side, and I get orientated towards that. And I'm seeing if I'm going to need that fuel cell. And yes, spoiler alert, I am going to need it. The 4 solar cells just aren't enough at this basic entry. You quickly unlock the next step up, and they're quite handy for that, but at this point. So here I'm trying to remember which one aims towards the sun, and it is definitely not anti-nominal. It's the, I want to call it radial. It just doesn't seem right, but maybe that's what it is, the radial and anti-radial. So if you could point at radial, that's pretty close, but I've also found that if you point to MOHO, or the what's basically the Mercury equivalent in real solar systems, it is Mercury. That works as well, and it seems to line up just a little bit better, being just off the side there, and you'll see there that it kind of tracks around, pointing towards that sun. If you're pointing towards Mercury, I don't know if that's the case when you're pointing towards the radial. So here we are back going into re-entry. Quite a bit of heat up here. I have a lot of liquid fuel. Definitely don't feel that I need this because we do have a heat shield and several safety features for our Kerbins to make sure that their landing is as gentle and safe as possible. But we're going to go ahead and use that to slow down our descent. So we'll continue to enter the atmosphere here, and when I get closer to my periaps, I will then activate those. Sometimes I wait until the engine heats up to burn off this last little bit of fuel, and sometimes I just burn it up when we get close to somewhat close to periaps. So it's whatever you fill up for. But it's definitely not needed, especially if you have heat shields, and we have airbags on this one as well for landing on the soil as opposed to water. And there we go, engine's starting to heat up, and I'll wait a little bit, it looks like this time, till I see the overheat symbol show up on the left there. Then I know it's good and toasty, and it's taken about as much heat as it's wanting to take. You can run it all the way up till it's to the H on re-entry, and most engines have enough thrust that, and you're still high enough up that it usually isn't a problem. You'll stay at that overheat stage for quite a bit, but and there goes our fuel. So now we're on the universal landing circuit. And what this is it's a heat shield plus a kind of a airbag kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and activate both of those, and then activate the chutes, and down we come. I'm using real chutes here, so this is a much more wild ride than typical Kerbin style. We'll come down at a pretty good clip, and because we are landing up at a higher altitude here, I didn't quite set the parachutes up for that, but everything gets deployed, and then we just got to write it down. So that was the contract for waiting for all the explosions there in the background, but this is the contract for tourism. It's going to give us a nice kickoff here, get us some money going. I'm going to do a bunch of these in the background, launching around to the various places. We stop here and pick up a little bit of science as well, because this is a new biome for us. When I go to do the EVA, it kind of refuses because it's trying to do one of the tourists as opposed to Valentina. So I go ahead and turn off MechJeb and deploy Valentina out through the EVA button there, grab us a little bit of science. So this is GreyKith. Hope you have a great day.